tell me if I've said this before. Right when this team gives us some hope, right when there's a winning streak, right when we start checking the standings, and oh, by the way, things start to fall apart again. Not a blowout loss or anything, but boy, right when they suck you in, a disappointing loss to the Oakland A's. We'll talk about the 6-5 defeat. Maybe it's time to stop looking at the standings, come back to reality. We'll talk about all of that on tonight's edition of the Locked On Angels Postcast right now.
You are Locked On Angels Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Los Angeles, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello, Halo Nation. Hello, Halo hopefuls. Hello, Postcast people, and welcome to the latest edition of the Locked On Angels Postcast. Coming at you live, as always, on the Locked On Sports Los Angeles YouTube channel and after the fact, wherever you get the Locked On Angels podcast feed. 6-5 loss here to open up a series against the Oakland A's in or at the Big A. And man, I got to say, I got to come out right now before I, read any sponsors, before I talk about what'll come in this show. And I got to say, this was the first time in a while that I really was excited for a game, not because a certain player was making a return from an injury, not because a certain opposing player was, on the field or anything. It was the first time in a while that I actually was thinking, hey, if we win this game and maybe the Astros lose tomorrow to the Dodgers, maybe we can start thinking about really watching those standings closely like half of the league gets to do. But no, we are Angels fans. We are Angels fans under Artie Moreno, especially in 2024. How dare I even think for a second that we could have that? How dare I? The second I get excited, you instantly give up 2 runs in the top of the first. You have a huge bottom of the second where you think, okay, we're going to do this. And then the wheels fall off the bus and the Angels pick up a bad loss. There's no other way to put it. The A's own us. We might own Seattle, but the A's own us, and that is disgraceful in 2024 and in most years, to be honest. Shout out to everybody in here. Appreciate the support as always. A lot of comments ripping in the chat tonight. Choke jobs being called, Angels suck, calls of sweep on the way, talks of trading Mike Trout, of trading Taylor Ward, all that good stuff. I even got called out by Angels Win for being a few minutes late. You are right to some degree. It was scheduled for 9:25. I usually like to come in a minute or two after it's scheduled, but I was about 7 minutes, as something just fell over there. Sorry about that, but I was about 7 minutes after it was scheduled. So Angels Win, you are correct. I was a little bit late. Apologies. But if you can't tell behind me, a new background once again, a familiar background. I am back in LA, finally, after 2 weeks in the Bay Area, a week in New York, 2 more days in the Bay Area. I am back in LA. I am back in Westwood, not in the original apartment, in the new apartment. Get used to this setup. Although now finally that I am here, I can make the wall look, on fleek. I can have the Angels banner behind me. I cannot believe I just said on fleek in 2024. That's disgraceful. But Angels banner will be behind me. There'll be a proper background setup in the days going forward. But with all that being said, on tonight's show, we'll talk about that huge 5-run second inning that gave all of us hope. We'll talk about the bullpen being really, really good. But we have to start with Kenny Rosenberg not being very good at all, costing the Angels this game and taking some hope away from all of us. But before we do any of that, a quick shout out to the sponsor of today's show, Booking.com, Booking.yeah. The right stay can make you a fan of any city, even your rivals. Check out Booking.com for your stay today. And with all that being said, we have to jump in to Kenny Rosenberg and his start, because it was not good, to say the least. Statistically wise, not good. 3 1/3 innings pitched. 6 hits, 6 runs, all earned. Just 1 walk, but also just 1 strikeout. And here's the stat, the biggest stat of all. 3 home runs. 3 home runs. I mean, if you cover Rosenberg on the box score, what a pitching day for the Angels. Strickland, no earned runs. Matt Moore, no earned runs, 2 strikeouts. Ben Joyce, a lot of chaos, but 2 innings pitched, a walk, a hit, but no runs. And then Contreras, quite a bit of chaos, but only 1 hit, 1 strikeout, no runs. The rest of the bullpen, or not the rest of, the bullpen was great tonight. The bullpen has been great. And it wasn't an Estevez. It wasn't Luis Garcia. It wasn't even Hans Kraus, who's been the player of the darn season as of late. It's the starting pitcher. And yesterday I said a foolish thing. I said that the Angels could trade Tyler Anderson and still maybe have a 10% chance at winning this division, this terrible AL West. I think we need to lower that. Actually, I said 7%. I think it's even lower because the moral of the story is this rotation, other than Tyler Anderson, other than Jose Soriano, other than Griffin Canning every once in a while, this rotation is a bunch of who? Is he? What? Like what? Like a bunch of random guys. Kenny Rosenberg now has played 3 times for the Angels in 2024, all in the past 2 weeks. If you don't remember, his debut in relief against the Mariners, I believe in a game they were already down a bunch in. I think that was the game we lost like 11-0 or something like that. 6 innings pitched, 6 earned runs, 8 hits, 3 walks. Then against Oakland on the 20th, 4 innings pitched, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk. So a little bit better, but it's Oakland. And then he gets Oakland again 5 days later, 3 1/3, like I said, 6 hits, 6 earned runs, that walk, but those 3 home runs. And he did not waste any time having a bad start. Unfortunately, he did not waste any time. 2 runs in the top of the first inning for Oakland. Like I said, I'm coming into this game excited. Oh, the Angels. The record might not be good. The record's always going to stink, let's be honest. But hey, Astros have the day off. Mariners have the day off. Angels win a game, get a half game closer. Maybe the Astros lose to the Dodgers tomorrow. Come on now, we can start getting real interesting here with the deadline approaching. Not that we're going to buy. Please don't buy. But he wasted no time, he being Kenny Rosenberg, instantly eliminating some of that hope. Leadoff double to Lawrence Butler. The A's have a couple Angels killers. And Lawrence Butler is one of them. He continues to destroy us. Leadoff double. And Duhar was another Angels destroyer. Luckily, he grounds out. But then Butler steals third. There's the throwing error by Logan O'Hoppe. And Butler scores. What an awful start. Obviously, the steal and error is not Rosenberg's fault. That's on O'Hoppe. But what a start. And then, instead of responding to the mistake of his catcher, picking up his defense, Rosenberg does the opposite. On 2-1, he throws a changeup right down Broadway, right down the middle. And Brent Rooker, who has been unbelievable. Where's this guy come from? 289, right? But a 944 OPS. 944 OPS. He has been crazy good. 24 home runs this year. 70 RBIs on the A's. 289 average, 366 on base percentage, 944 OPS. Talk about a guy that will be a no doubt trade, not candidate. He will be traded. He will go to a team that needs a hitter. Cough, cough, Seattle Mariners, although that intra-division trade will probably not happen. But he's been amazing. He's killed the Angels to some degree this year, and he did today. Solo shot on a really bad pitch, and just like that, it's 2-0. It's 2-0 before this Angels lineup that hasn't been hot, let's be honest, but has been productive enough to win games. Before they even have a chance to see the field, they're already down 2-0. And we'll talk about that second inning after the break and why that was so encouraging. Not just because you score 5 runs in an inning. Obviously, anytime that happens is great. But more so because the Angels never have games like this. This was a rare game for the Angels in how it progressed. How many times have we said the Angels fell behind and didn't respond? So many times. So many times. Even when it's a 1-run game, how many times have we said the Angels fell behind early, didn't do anything for 7 innings, and then in the 8th or 9th inning, came up just short? So many times. So many times. And then, of course, we've had, as of late, at least in the Mariners series, our wins are all 8th and 9th inning comebacks. You know, the rare times we do score in the first couple of innings, we usually win the game. But how many times have we had a game like tonight where the Angels go behind early, actually do enough to come back and not only tie the game, but take the lead right away, still early, and then crumble? We have not seen that in a while. These lead changes back and forth. It feels like every game is a 1 or 2 run game where the Angels are down and they don't do anything, or it's a game where they're down 10 and they do something but not enough, or when they win. But this type of loss has not happened really all year. So, you know, I guess good on the hitting for scoring 5 runs in the bottom of the second. We'll get to that after the break. But it's so frustrating that the one time they do, you don't get a win for it. And to be fair, this lineup did nothing other than that, so they don't deserve any credit. Real quick, we'll wrap up this Rosenberg start because he was just getting started with 2-run innings. In the top of the third, more home run action, more Angel killers. Lawrence Butler again. After a Max Schumann leadoff single, Lawrence Butler. As there's noise everywhere today. Jesus, apologies for that. 2-0 count to Lawrence Butler. Man already on. He already has a double in the game. Rosenberg throws a cutter at the knees. Ripped. Home run. 106.2 exit velo. 413 feet. It's 4-0. Right after your lineup gives you a huge lead, Rosenberg. Right after they do. Boom. 2-run shot. And then in the fourth, once again, leadoff hits. The kryptonite for Rosenberg tonight. Leadoff double again. This time Tyler Nevin. And then a wild pitch gets Nevin to third with 1 out. Daz Cameron. The 2-run home run, and it's 6-5. And all three times, pitches right down the middle. Just horrible pitches. The moral of the story is he's not great. He's not an MLB pitcher. That's the conclusion. There's really not much else to say. It's frustrating. It really is. The starting rotation is terrible, and you have to wonder. I know that Patrick Sandoval was not a world beater. We know how bad Reed Detmers was. We know Chase Silseth was not a world beater, but these are still MLB arms, right? The guys in the Angels rotation right now, or rotation in quotation marks, they're not MLB starters. And we saw that again tonight. 6 costly runs, 3 costly home runs that take a win away from the Angels, take the opportunity to get within 7.5, maybe 7 after an Astros loss tomorrow. Missed opportunity for real. After the first break here, we'll talk about that bottom of the second inning where the Angels explode for 5 runs. We'll also talk about the bullpen being phenomenal. And I'm seeing in the chat from Angels Win that the Mariners traded for Randy Arozarena. If we want, we could talk about that as well, just because why not? We'll talk about that and more after our first break here on the Locked On Angels Postcast. Now, today's show is brought to you by Supply House. Get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades, supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. I forgot to get the banner going there. Bam. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful research. Let's start over. Get supplies from the site that's made for the skilled trades, supplyhouse.com. Supplyhouse.com is the reliable way to order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Shop a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from over 400 top brands and get your order delivered right to your door with fast shipping and from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Get expert support and industry-leading service from the friendliest folks in the business and talk to a real person every time. Pros in the skilled trades can get a competitive edge by joining SupplyHouse.com's free TradeMaster program. Every TradeMaster gets access to a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Join the thousands of trade pros already benefiting from their free membership at SupplyHouse.com/TM and order plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies from anywhere with just a few clicks at SupplyHouse.com. And today's show is also brought to you by Game Time. Now, you heard me say it if you listened to any of the most recent podcasts. I not only love Game Time, I not only use it every once in a while, I used it 3 times in the past week. I'm not lying. If you don't know what Game Time is, it's now officially an authorized ticket marketplace of Major League Baseball, which makes getting tickets faster and easier. Here's the key with Game Time. Prices on the Game Time app actually go down the closer it gets to first pitch. And here's how it works. I'll give you 3 examples, 3 real-life examples that happened this past week. I went to a New York Liberty game in New York, bought tickets on the subway on the way there, $12. Went to a Yankee game on Friday before I got sick that night, bought them on the subway. Good seats, less than $100 each, in a sold-out Yankee Stadium against the Rays. And then just yesterday, yes, a day before I drove 6 hours from the Bay Area to LA. Yesterday night, I went to Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California, and watched my beloved Chelsea Football Club play a preseason game. Tickets, $75, bought them in the car. And the second you buy them, they send them to your phone in an instant. So, highly recommend you take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match. For $20 off your first order. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. I love Game Time, man. We are back here live on the Locked On Sports Los Angeles YouTube channel. This is the Locked On Angels Postcast, and the Angels really missed an opportunity tonight. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe I was just really amped up because it felt like the Angels were playing an even remotely interesting, intriguing, meaningful baseball game tonight. Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe seeing single digits next to the games back column in the AL West got me excited. At the end of the day, this team is still well under 500. This team is still in a must-sell at the deadline situation. And maybe I just got a little excited that for once a game actually even remotely might have meant something because it felt like an opportunity. You're playing one of the worst teams in baseball. You're within 8 games in your division. You can easily win all 4 of these games against the A's. The Astros can easily lose 2 of the next 3 against the Dodgers. You can be within 6 games. You can be within 5 games around the deadline, man. Instead, you lose 6-5 to the A's in the Big A because Kenny Rosenberg is not an MLB starter, man. He is not an MLB level starting pitcher at all. The rotation is just no good. No good. The reason this one hurts too is not just because Rosenberg was bad, but because the Angels had a 5-run second inning. That's right, 5-run second inning after falling behind 2-0. They go up 5-2, and you're thinking, look at the heart of this team. This is a new team. I don't know what's going on outside. If you're catching that on the mic, I'm sorry. There's something going on outside my door. I hope the world's not ending, but and it has been as of late. But the throwback uniforms, so clean, so nice. I'm just frustrated, man. I was excited. And this team comes out. They have 5 runs in the bottom of the second inning, too. Kevin Pillar, a 1-out double. Logan O'Hoppe singles in Pillar with a line drive single. Then Nolan Schanuel walks. Then Zach Neto singles. Sharp ground ball to center field. It deflects off of Ross Stripling. A little bit of chaos. O'Hoppe scores. Schanuel gets to third. Then Mickey Moniak, who has quietly been pretty decent as of late. He gets a sac fly to give the Angels a lead. But then there's still more. Anthony Rendon walks. And then the man who, do you just trade him at this point? Do you just do it? Because I don't know. He's amazing. Maybe he does not deserve to be on a sorry franchise like us right now. Luis Rengifo doubles off Andujar. Neto scores. Rendon scores. It's 5-2 Angels just like that. 5 runs in the second inning. And look at the guys who did it. Just about everybody you want to see do it does it. Kevin Pillar, you want to see him do it because he's just a good guy. He's been a great leader. Maybe you trade him at the deadline and get something for him. But regardless, just like seeing that guy succeed. We know why Logan O'Hoppe succeeding matters. He's the future of the franchise. Nolan Schanuel will walk. Great. He's going to be the future of the franchise. Zach Neto, RBI single. Great. Future of the franchise. Mickey Moniak, sac fly. Maybe not future of the franchise, but a young guy that still has some room in his career to maybe amount to something. Rendon walks. Anytime he does anything that isn't terrible, it's a miracle. And then Luis Rengifo, the best player, the best hitter, probably player for this team all year. Doubles. 2 RBIs. Beautiful. All the guys you want to see. The only guy you want to see that didn't do well in this inning and in this game, take a guess. It's Taylor Ward. Because, man, is he abysmal when he's abysmal. Like, when he is not on, he is as off as it gets. 0 for 4 with the strikeout. I saw some trade Taylor Ward things in the chat. And frustrating. Frustrating. You're probably not getting much for him. When even a month ago, he was hitting like 250 and you could get something for him. He clearly likes Anaheim. He likes the weather. He likes the franchise for some reason. He likes maybe not playing meaningful games because he's doing everything he can to not get traded from the Angels. I'm seeing more stuff in the chat about Randy Arozarena getting traded. So I think that's official. I don't think I'm getting trolled. Not that I thought any of you guys were in the first place, but after the break, we'll certainly talk about Arozarena just because it is in the division, just because it is to a team we just walloped, and because why not? Real quick, before we take our last break, I want to talk about the bullpen because after that 5-run inning from the Angels, they did nothing else. And then Rosenberg gave up home runs in the third and the fourth, and it was 6-5. And very easily, this team could have done two things. You could have had a great comeback, or you could have fallen apart. And for once, we had neither. We just had the Angels do nothing, but also the bullpen was phenomenal. It was great. Hunter Strickland, inning and 2/3, no hits, no walks, no nothing. Matt Moore, 1 hit, 2 strikeouts. We know how inconsistent, if not bad. No, not if not. Matt Moore's been bad. He's been bad. 5.87 ERA even after the shutout inning here. So you love to see the shutout inning from him. It's a miracle. Ben Joyce, 2 innings pitched, 1 hit, 1 walk, like I said, and he had all sorts of interesting stuff in his start, or not in his start, in his appearance. 1, 2, 3, 7th. Beautiful. Beautiful. But in the 8th, he walks Langliers. I think that's how you say it. Then there's a single from Seth Brown. Then he hits a pitch, or he hits a batter, Zach Jaloff. Bases are loaded. And very easily, you could have pulled him. You could have said, but they leave him in there with the bases loaded. J.J. Bleday. 2-2 pitch. A slider, let's be honest, not the best pitch, but you get a line out. You get a weak line out. And then with the bases loaded, 1-2 pitch to Abraham Toro. And it's a good one. A fastball down and in, weak contact, grounder to the first baseman, and Ben Joyce gets out of a crazy 8th inning. And then in the 9th, Roansy Contreras. Pretty crazy as well. Leadoff single to Schumann, gets Butler to fly out, but then he hits Andujar after Schumann had already stolen second. First and second now, with just 1 out. Once again, a lot of adversity. But Contreras, I got to give it to him. A great at-bat to Brent Rooker. We know how good Brent Rooker is, and he kept things real simple. I'm only throwing down and away, and he executed. 2 balls just outside, down and away, but then 2 strikes, down and away. Then a ball just below the knees, outside, away, of course, and then a 3-2 slider in the perfect spot, down and away. Not terrible contact, but just a pretty weak ground ball, and you get out of the inning. So really impressed with the bullpen, and really encouraged that if Estevez gets traded in a week, if even Luis Garcia, if even Hunter Strickland does, this bullpen can be fine. It can be fine. The glaring hole is, other than Tyler Anderson, who will probably be gone, Jose Soriano, and I guess Griffin Canning sometimes, this rotation is terrible. It is a bunch of guys you never heard of, and the lineup is very inconsistent. Maybe it doesn't even matter. Maybe we don't even need to worry about how good the rotation is, because in a week, this team will be blown up. But like I said, coming into this one, they had me fooled, thinking maybe this game mattered a little bit more than it probably actually did. We're going to take our last break here on the postcast. When I come back, we'll talk about Randy Arozarena. Why not? Because you know I love to read the comments every time in the third segment, and most of the comments are about Arozarena. Also, we'll read some of the chats about Trout and about Taylor Ward and about other stuff after our last break here on the Locked On Angels Postcast. Today's show is brought to you by Booking.com. Yeah, you know I love Booking.com. With summer travel heating up, especially travel for baseball games, it's time to explore those U.S. cities you always secretly wanted to learn more about. Yes, we're talking about your rival cities. With hotels, bed and breakfast, vacation rentals, resorts, and so much more on Booking.com, you might just find your perfect stay even in your baseball rival city. I use I didn't use a baseball. I use Booking.com for my baseball stay in New York last week. Used the app. It was easy. Bada bing, bada boom. Got it done with ease. Went to a Yankees game. Not quite a rival, but still. Went to a baseball game in another state across the country, and Booking.com was certainly a part of it. So, from hotels that look over stadiums to family-friendly resorts, Booking.com has so many choices across the U.S. for your summer travel this MLB season. The right stay can make you a fan of any U.S. city, even your rivals. Book today on Booking.com on the site or in the Booking.com app. And finally, today's show is brought to you by Prize Picks. You know how much I love Prize Picks. If you somehow don't know what Prize Picks is, it's America's #1 daily fantasy sports app with over 5 million active members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports, because unlike other fantasy sports apps where you're competing against other people who have algorithms and who use AI and are statistics nerds and all that, It's just you against the numbers. You just got to pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. And they have great promotions, especially this summer, such as on Tuesdays, lowering certain stat projections, making it easier for them to hit. And on Fridays, if your lineup doesn't hit at all, you actually get money back on the first one. You got to love that. You got to love that. So download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code LOCKEDONMLB on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. Prize Picks, pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Back here live on the Locked On Sports Los Angeles YouTube channel. This is the Locked On Angels Postcast. I'm Gavin Carlson, and the Angels. The Angels are a brutal, brutal franchise. Not just because they lose games. We know they lose games. But because they draw you in right when they're going to fail. They draw you in. They sweep the Mariners. They get you all excited that this team maybe can start looking at the standings just 8 games back of first place. But no, they lose to the A's. They continue to be owned by the A's. I don't get it at all. We're going to read the comments here. We already talked about everything really in the game. We'll read the comments because I love you and your comments. And we'll talk about Randy Arozarena because he was traded. There's so much going on behind me. I don't know what's going on in Westwood. My first time back, and there's already crazy stuff. But let's look at the comments. Jeff, always negative, but always right with the negativity. He called it. He said, we're going to sweep the Mariners and then get swept by the A's. And right now he's 1 for 1 with that prediction. He says, looks like the A's will sweep us again. Yes, certainly a possibility. And I'm Angel said, I think you're right. We're going to be swept. Fud Alex says, Angels suck. Man, a lot of negativity today, but kind of valid. Jeff once again called it. Angels win says, wait until the trades happen. The real losing will begin. And with Trout probably out the year. Yeah, who knows with Mike Trout? I haven't heard everything. To be honest, I was driving all day today. So wasn't able to follow the Angels other than the game itself. And even that was to a mixed degree. But yeah, if Mike Trout, I don't even know what to say anymore about him and the injuries. Jeff says this about every postcast, and it's so valid. He just can't wait until we're actually a good team. I'm with him. I'm with him. And I'm Angel says, put me in, coach. Maybe we have to. Angels win says, you're going to wait a while for that. Fud Alex says, the Angels are becoming the A's kid. Yeah. The Locked On Angels Daily Podcast guy said we were becoming the Mariners' daddies. Well, the A's might be our daddies. They might be. They continue to beat us on the road, at home. It don't matter. Jeff, with the big bomb in the chat today, says, I think the Angels should trade Trout next year. It's definitely getting to a point where you might have to talk about it. I'm not going to waste this postcast talking about it. Maybe if there's a game in the next couple of days where we get blown out or something, and I really have a lot of time, I can give you my full thoughts. But at this point, I just don't know what to say. I don't know what you would get for him. I don't know if you can ever consider trading him for anything other than the world. And I don't know if you're going to get the world. And I don't even know if I want Mike Trout traded because he's a great guy. He's a great teammate. He's been great for the city. One of the best baseball players ever. It's tough. It's just a tough situation all around. Fud Alex says trade Ward 100%, 110%. The problem is now you're going to get pennies for him. But I'd still trade him for a bag of I just said a bag of sandwiches. A sandwich and a bag of chips at this point for Taylor Ward. Maybe even just a bag of chips without the sandwich. He's not worth much, but at this point, he's just a veteran taking up space and not really helping the team at all. Such a bummer, because literally a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, you could have gotten decent stuff because he was hitting 250, but he's also had better years in his career. A team could have said, hey, we'll trade him based on what he's been, not what he has, what he's been in previous years, not as much this year. But now he's just been so bad this year that it's just like, all right, is this guy's career over? It might be. Absolutely brutal. Jeff says, I hope we don't lose 100 games at this rate. We might. Certainly a possibility, and certainly if we trade everybody at the deadline. Angels win. He called me out. He said I was late. Like I said, scheduled 9:25. I was on about 9:32. I like to give it 3 or 4 minutes after when I schedule it, just to let you guys come in and talk in the chat and everything. But you guys were eager today. There was a lot of people leaving chats before I got live, and I appreciate it. I love it. So yes, you are right. Angels win. You are always right. Yeah, the Angels win. Repeating my sentiment of if they trade a bunch of players, they will lose 100 games. I agree with that. Fud Alex says, I'm mad they gave me hope. Boy, I'm mad as well. And there was the breaking news. Angels win, drops it first. That The Mariners have traded for Randy Arozarena. But Alex said he wanted the Angels to trade Ward for Randy. Man, that would have been a great flip. Let's talk about Randy Arozarena real quick. Of course, there's some, I guess not really rumors at this point. It says the Rays received outfielder Aiden Smith, right-hander Brody Hopkins, and a player to be named later for Randy Arozarena. We know at his peak, Randy Arozarena can be great, but we know at his worst, not so much. And he's certainly closer to his worst than his peak in 2024. Just a .213 batting average. He does have 15 home runs, but just a .213 batting average. Let's be honest, that's not going to cut it. And I get it. It's an interesting trade for the Mariners, trying to get creative. You don't have to give up a ton to get this bat because he's been struggling. And he still instantly becomes one of the better bats in the Mariners lineup because we know how bad the Mariners lineup is. But if this is their big trade and this is it, then it's not good enough at all. I don't think this is it. I think this is just signaling that they are aggressive, and so aggressive that they're not waiting till the 30th to get this one done. They know the time is now. They know that if they made trades like this 2 weeks ago, they'd still be up 7 games in the division or something. But they waited, which you usually do at the deadline. But now you're in a tight, deadlocked race with the Houston Astros, with the Rangers on their way. And so we'll see if Randy Arozarena helps that abysmal offense. I think they need 1 or 2 guys more if they really want to be serious about taking advantage of an unbelievable rotation of a fan base that is so eager to make it to the playoffs. We'll see. A team that is, or another franchise and fan base that is eager to make it to the playoffs is our dang fan base, our dang Angels, but we know that ain't happening, unfortunately, anytime soon, at least not this year is what it's looking like. A real missed opportunity today. The Angels fall 6-5 to the Oakland A's. Right when they have an opportunity to maybe win 3 or 4 or sweep these A's. I know the Angels aren't good, but it's not that unreasonable to say sweep the A's. The A's are no good. But no, you lose the home opener, series opener against the A's, and you fall right back to reality, even with the 5-run second inning. Man, oh man. We will be back here tomorrow. Hopefully a better result tomorrow. It's got to be. It's got to be. And not even for the standings or anything like that. You just can't keep losing to the A's. It's just getting embarrassing, man. It's getting embarrassing. So we will be back here tomorrow, as we always are, after every single Angels game. Hopefully the setup will look a little bit better behind me. Hopefully Angels win. I will be even more on time. And hopefully I won't be hearing noises to my left and, things to my right and all that stuff. First day back, I'm not going to lie. I'm exhausted. I drove like 7 hours today. I literally got in like 30 minutes before the show. Of course, I was watching / listening to the whole game on the drive and everything, but I literally got in. I haven't even unloaded my suitcase and stuff from my car. I got in, I got my tech set up, and I went live because there you go. I'm here for you guys no matter what. We did it in New York. We did it in the Bay Area. We're doing it on no sleep after a 6-hour drive. We're doing all that for you guys because this team might be no good, but this community is, and I appreciate you all so much. So please, if you enjoyed, if you appreciate my hard work as much as I appreciate you guys, leave a like, leave comments, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, leave a 5-star rating on any podcast platform. Appreciate the kind words. Fud Alex says good podcast. Angels win says great work. Appreciate that. And he leaves me with this question. When do you see the Angels returning to the playoffs? 2026? At this point, it's feeling like Project 2026. I feel like if all of the young guys were playing stellar, if all of them were playing like O'Hoppe, if Neto was playing even better, if Shane was playing like O'Hoppe, if one of the two between Joe Adell and Mickey Moniak was playing like O'Hoppe, I mean, this team might be over 500 now if all that was happening. But if most of those things were happening, if the teams were, the rotation was healthy and even an average rotation, I would say next year is a reasonable possibility. If you make the right trades this year, to load up on some promising prospects, go sign a couple free agents, next year might be a possibility. No, I don't think so anymore. I think this team needs to trade everybody at the deadline. They need to just have prospects. 2025 will be a team led by Logan O'Hoppe and Zach Neto. Maybe Mike Trout will be on the team. Who knows? But it'll be led by a bunch of young guys, not featuring young guys. It will be led by young guys. And because of that, I don't see the playoffs next year. 2026 is absolutely a possibility, just because there are young, talented guys in this core. A couple questions here that I will certainly answer. First off, Jeff says he appreciates me. I appreciate you, Jeff, because you're always here. He says, how can I rate on your podcast? Whatever podcast platform you listen to, I mean, you're here on YouTube, obviously, But if you have a Spotify, an Apple Podcast, SoundCloud, anything like that, you can go onto that platform, go onto the Locked On Angels Daily Podcast, and leave a 5-star review. As Angels Win says, you rate on the podcast platform, but on YouTube, you just hit that like button. The like button it seems like a little flimsy button. It is so important. It helps me out so much. So leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and please join me every single postcast. We'll leave with Fun Alex saying you should make a YouTube channel about the Angels. Wow, that might be fun. We'll see. I mean, we got the Locked On Angels Daily Podcast. They do a great job, and as of now, we're doing the postcast, and it's been a lot of fun. But who knows? In the future, there's certainly stuff I would consider doing. We'll see. We'll keep you on edge, and maybe something coming on in the future. But in the meantime, for now, just join me on the postcast every single night like you guys have been. I appreciate you all so much. Be back here tomorrow, hopefully after a win. And I know Jeff wants to see the Astros beat the Dodgers, but I want to see the Astros lose so that game's back column still looks even remotely attractive. I'm going to root on the the Dodgers tomorrow. It's going to be tough to do. And of course, I'm going to root on our Angels. We'll talk about it all after the game tomorrow right here on the Angels Postcast. So I'm Gavin Carlson. This was the Locked On Angels Postcast. Have a great night, everybody. And we'll be back here tomorrow. And even after a loss, you know the deal. Go Angels. Take care, everybody.